From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Evening Edition.
Now at 6, the debate already heating up over who to fill Dianne Feinstein's Senate seat. The tough decision facing Governor Newsom tonight.
I think if he appoints her, she's earned the spot.
It's not smooth, it's not clean, because I don't know who you would put in there as an incumbent.
Plus, Oakland restaurants on the same block closing their doors because of rising crime. How loyal customers showed up to say their goodbyes.
And later they took it to the brink, but Congress did avoid a government shutdown hours before the deadline, the unexpected bipartisan push to get a deal done. Live from the CBS studios in San Francisco, I'm Brian Hackney.
And I'm Andrea Nakano. The Senate is in session tonight without one of its longest tenured members. California Senator Dianne Feinstein died Thursday night in Washington. Here is a live look out at SFO where the late senator's body is arriving from D.C. Feinstein was 90 years old. She had represented California in Washington for more than 30 years, and before that, she served on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors and as the city's first female mayor.
She had represented California in Washington for more than 30 years, and now it's up to Governor Newsom to name an interim replacement, but Newsom is already being held accountable for two conflicting statements about that big decision. And as John Ramos explains, the whole process has some major political implications.
If there's one thing that energizes Washington politics, it's a political vacuum. And the passing of Senator Dianne Feinstein is putting Governor Newsom in a difficult spot. When Kamala Harris became vice president, Governor Newsom gave her Senate seat to Alex Padilla, but he promised that any subsequent appointment would be for a black woman. Now, supporters of Senate candidate Representative Barbara Lee say it's time to honor that promise.
We are supportive of Barbara because it's not only is she qualified, she's capable, she has served, she's proven herself, and at the same time, it is past time that we are represented in the United States Senate.
But that puts Newsom in a tough spot because Lee is currently trailing two other Democrats, Adam Schiff and Katie Porter, in the primary race. So he sparked outrage among Lee supporters with comments on Meet the Press that indicated he would not appoint someone who is already running.
It's my job, it's my responsibility. If we have to do it, we'll do it.
You're going to abide by your pledge?
Yeah, interim appointment. I don't want to get involved in the primary.
So no, you would not appoint anybody that is filed for this race?
It would be completely unfair to the Democrats that have worked their tail off. That primary is just a matter of months away. I don't want to tip the balance of that.
Lee responded with a statement saying, quote, if the governor intends to keep his promise and appoint a black woman to the Senate, the people of California deserve the best possible person for that job, not a token appointment. Black women deserve more than a participation trophy. We need a seat at the table, end quote. Kelly Todd Griffin is president of the California Black Women's Collective.
The law says you must make an appointment. It does not say a caretaker. It says make an appointment. And there's no reason to believe that that person should not be able to run or is not running today.
Dianne Feinstein is credited with saving San Francisco's cable cars, and at the Powell Street turnaround, people mused about the dilemma of finding her replacement.
Interesting dynamic for the governor. I think it puts him in a very difficult spot when you have other candidates that are leading in the polls. It does give a little bit of unfair advantage at the election time. We're so close to the election. So, yeah, he has a tough decision to make. People have earned that spot, like her. I think if he appoints her, she's earned the spot.
It's not smooth, it's not clean, because I don't know who you would put in there as an incumbent. I mean, as a temporary caretaker. I mean, that defeats the purpose.
But you don't think it should be somebody who's still running right now?
No, because he's putting his finger on the scale.
But to Amanda Lugo, it all feels like politics as usual.
It doesn't matter what side you're on, people all have their opinions, and those people all think they're right. So, but people are like vultures waiting to get in for themselves, I feel.
History shows it's hard to defeat someone who is already in office. Supporters of Barbara Lee know that, and they're turning up the pressure on Newsom to appoint her to the job as a way of ensuring that a black woman will have a seat in the Senate.
In addition, Democrats are urging Newsom to make a decision soon because of their razor-thin majority in the Senate.
As the tributes for Senator Feinstein keep pouring in, the word trailblazer keeps popping up. When she was elected to a new position, she was often the first woman ever to hold the job. Our Kelsey Thorud has more on how the late senator paved the way for countless other women.
From her early days in government back in the 1970s, Dianne Feinstein was not shy about sharing her opinion that women deserve a seat in government.
I think that women are going to play an enormous role in the destiny of the world, in the quest for peace, in the solutions to poverty, in government.
Throughout her career, Feinstein was often one of only a few women, if any, in the room, but quickly became the first to rise to a position of power. In 1978, she was elected the first woman president of San Francisco's Board of Supervisors, and after the assassination of Harvey Milk and George Moscone, she became the city's first woman mayor. In 1984, while still in her position as mayor, Feinstein's name was floated as potentially becoming the vice presidential candidate on Walter Mondale's ticket. Here's a clip from an interview she did with KPIX at the time, where the reporter asked her if she was surprised her name was in the conversation for VP.
I think if I were a man, it would be there, very much so. I've been a good mayor, and I've done the right things for the city, and I intend to continue to do the right things for the city.
Feinstein was not ultimately picked as Mondale's running mate, but that didn't slow her down. In 1992, she was elected California's first female senator in what would become known as the Year of the Woman. She stayed in that position as senator for over 3 decades until her death, making her the longest-serving female senator in U.S. history. Kathleen Brown, the former treasurer of California, who worked with Feinstein for years, had this to say about her colleague and friend.
She's a legend. And her legacy is profound for the state of California, but I think greater than just the state, for women around the country and around the world.
Former Congresswoman Jackie Speer was also a longtime friend and colleague of Senator Feinstein's. She simply had this to say about the senator's legacy.
The legacy she leaves behind is one that will be unmatched for certainly my lifetime.
And in other news tonight, and it is news, something we haven't seen much of lately, rain across parts of the Bay Area. Darren Pack has been tracking this little system that came down. Was this a bit of a surprise? Did we see this coming?
No, we were talking about this up to at least 48 hours ago.
Oh.
The details of this system were difficult to pin down only because it developed so rapidly, but we had a chance for rain in the forecast as early as Wednesday of this week for the North Bay. And the timing and location for these actually did work out almost identical to where those models 2 days ago had it. Afternoon, rotating through the North Bay. And it hasn't been able to get south of the Golden Gate. Watch what happens. Maybe a few showers held together and dropped over the city. But this has been confined almost exclusively up here, and primarily for Sonoma County. And just outside of the town of Sonoma, we've picked up 0.3 of an inch already today. If you look at where this is falling now, a lot of this is in the mountains up above Napa, and we're going to watch this on the high-resolution forecast because some of these showers are going to try and hold together and continue to work southward. We can see that now on the high-resolution forecast, and a lot of it fizzles. But we'll look at this again in more detail coming up in the complete first alert forecast. There's no rain tomorrow, and what happens for the rest of the 7-day forecast.
Took them just until 3 hours before the deadline, but Congress beat the clock to keep the government open. The Senate has just overwhelmingly voted to pass a stopgap spending bill that would keep the government funded for the next 45 days until mid-November.
The real hang-up was in the House of Representatives, where it took weeks to get a deal done. It includes money for defense and social programs, but it doesn't include money for Ukraine. That will likely be taken up in a separate measure. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy had to rely on Democrats to help push the deal through. That's because the most hardline House Republicans consistently refuse to support it.
We asked USF Professor James Taylor about the deal, and he said that it's a clear win for the Democrats.
The Democrats saved the country from a shutdown, and with everything going on with MAGA and with Trump, with the hearings, the cases, the American people, I think, will be relieved to know that they've avoided the misery of a shutdown. If I were a Republican, I would be thinking twice about our strategies going forward, because the right wing dominating the party is not a recipe for winning national elections.
The spending bill deal has culminated in threats to Speaker McCarthy's job. The hardline Republicans in the House Freedom Caucus have been at odds with Speaker McCarthy since he took office. They say this latest move is an insult to his own party. Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida suggested he be removed from leadership and says McCarthy is to blame for his own predicament.
Because all he had to do was comply with the agreement that he made with us in January, and putting this bill on the floor and passing it with Democrats would be such an obvious, blatant, and clear violation of that.
Kevin McCarthy's going to continue to be the Speaker. Who is there? If you're going to identify a problem, come up with a solution to the problem, but there is nobody else.
McCarthy stands by the stopgap and says he's acting on behalf of the American public.
You know what? If somebody wants to remove because I want to be the adult in the room, go ahead and try. If I have to risk my job for standing up for the American public, I will do that.
Any congresspeople has the power to introduce a motion to vacate and request an almost immediate House vote that could oust McCarthy.
Well, the deal itself wasn't the only controversial part of the day. U.S. Capitol Police are investigating after a New York congressman pulled a fire alarm in an office building connected to the Capitol. Video shows Representative Jamal Bowman pulling the alarm before the House was scheduled to vote on the bill. He did it to delay that vote. Administration Committee is also looking into what happened. Bowman said that he pulled the alarm by accident. That's what he told reporters. He was trying to get through a door and he thought the alarm would open the door. Some House members say they want Bowman censured for his actions. To the North Bay now, a police officer hurt after somebody crashed into a patrol cruiser in San Rafael. Police say the person was driving under the influence. This happened at the intersection of Francisco and Bellum Boulevards early this morning. They say a speeding driver ran a red light, rammed into the patrol cruiser. The officer expected to be okay. Police say the driver was arrested for DUI and driving without a license. It is Strictly Day 2 of the Hardly Strictly Bluegrass Festival in San Francisco, with people packing Golden Gate Park to listen to live music for free. Three-day event has more than 70 acts performing across 6 stages. Hardly Strictly runs through tomorrow.
Pier 39 turned 45 today. They celebrated with the special events on top of the shopping, dining, and of course, the sea lions. Restaurants are also sending $1 for every bowl of clam chowder they sell to the Maui Strong Fund to help wildfire victims. The Pier's representatives say it had a vivacious year that's nearly made the pandemic just a memory. Pier 39 is on pace for 15 million visitors this year.
We've had a robust summer. We've heard even international languages around the pier. We're even starting to see some of our Asian audience come back.
Right now, a live band is playing. They'll be followed by a DJ and then a drone light show over the water at 9 o'clock tonight.
Andrea, how about $1 billion? Why not? You have another chance to play the Powerball as the jackpot inches toward $1 billion tonight. After 30 consecutive drawings without a big winner, there may now be 31 without a big winner. Jackpot has soared to $960 million. And if you were to take the lump sum option, sure, why not? That's about $441 million. This is the Powerball's second largest drawing this year alone. And the drawing is at 8 o'clock tonight. You still have a chance. Do it for now. Thanks for watching. See you back here at 11 o'clock tonight.